I'm Pia the Gallerist, and you are listening to Thinking Outside of the Cube, a Cube Gallery podcast produced by Katie and Gabby.
Hi, this is JT Gonzalez, curator of Camping Trip 2. One of our featured artists is Reen Barrera. For anybody observing the local contemporary art scene, Reen has definitely shown up on the horizon. Reen's trademark sculpture is the Ohlala Doll. And in this podcast, we talk to Reen about the thought processes and the creative processes that go into making Ohlala. If you're a collector of Reen, this is a definitive interview of how Ohlala came to life. So listen up and enjoy. Thank you.
Hi, I'm Reen Barrera, a sculptor and painter, and I'm one of the artists of the upcoming show, Camping Trip 2.
When and how did you start getting into art?
As a kid, we are not allowed to go outside. Inside the house, I don't have any PlayStation or Game Boy. I don't have that. I use crumpled paper and then turn them into sculptures. To make it short, I was really a bored kid. So make use of any materials around me. Maybe that's the starting point of me becoming an artist. And when it comes to professionally, I studied fine arts major in advertising, and I wasn't able to land any job. I started assisting an older sculptor making statues for churches, and then all of the jobs that is included in my resume are all sculptors. So I think that's my destiny to become a sculptor.
What are your influences when you create your art?
When I was just starting, I used to copy my idols like David Cho. When I entered the gallery scene, I was told that my works look like his work. I decided to change it. If I tell my own story, it will be unique. I don't want to tell a story that I don't really know 100%.
You're really, really well known for your Ohlala Dolls. What was your main inspiration and how did you come up with the name and kind of the look of it?
When it comes to the name, I was born in Paris and I grew up here in the Philippines. When my father came here for vacation, he adopted the word olala. In Paris, it's a sexual innuendo. Use it whenever my father is angry. He said, olala. He changed the meaning of it and then it embedded in my memory. I created the sculpture because I was working for a company. I was trained to make baby faces there. If you're familiar with that, the tear eye drop shaped eyes. When I was about to resign, I have this project. Olalay is supposed to be a Christmas ornament for a Christmas tree, but the project didn't push through. So when I resigned to the company, I have this head sculpture. I was invited by my friend to sell art on the streets, and that's where I thought of creating a sculpture. That's where Olala started, on the streets of BGC. If you're familiar with the idiom saying that it's written all over your face, and in the Philippines, they say that your destiny is written on your palms. So I decided to mix that idea together and paint the face of Olala with the familiar symbols that I use are the teardrop, the arrows, the up and down arrows, and the sprouting plant. Because if I'm going to make a symbol for life, it's teardrops, it's for our ups and downs, and the arrows for our triumph and everything that we accomplish. And I cover the heads with the cloth. The original Olalas, the first pieces only have a plain canvas on its head, because us as people, if you are born rich, if you are born poor, the empty canvas symbolizes that you still have a choice to change the way your life is going. So that's Olala.
Like, what's your process like when you're making work for an exhibition?
I've created like 160 Olala dolls. So the first few pieces, I create one piece for 3 days. And now I can create three pieces in one day. So, because I have created the process to make it fast and make it a lot cleaner. That's why I have minimized the release of Olalas, because I have to rest my creative juices, if you know what I mean, and I have to create something different for Olala.
Do you ever get attached to any of the dolls and kind of want to keep them and not sell them instead?
Oh yes, I have with me the number one Olala. I also have the first samurai Ohlala. I'm keeping this one for me.
If you could collaborate with any artist, living or dead, who would you pick and why?
There's a lot of Filipino artists that I look up to. Happily, I have collaborated with them like Demi Padua, Max Balatbat. If you know Basquiat, if I could only collaborate with that guy, because his works are really strong, and I really envy those artists who are really brave enough to create a style that is not the normal. It's not realism. It's not too much colors or yeah, Basquiat and some other Filipino artist who is still alive.
Have you ever met an artist and been completely starstruck?
Mr. S. Yeah, because when I started entering the art scene, I go to this gallery and then I was talking to this guy and then I didn't know that he is Mr. S. I'm a really big fan of Mr. S. So I got starstruck because I'm a really big fan of that guy. And also the every artist whom I met because I just started like 5 years ago. Whenever I met them and they know my name, I got chills because yeah, I made it.
If you could talk to your past childhood self who was still making those paper sculptures in his house, what would you tell him and why?
Maybe I'll just watch him do his sculptures because as far as I can remember, I'm a really quiet child, especially inside the house. At school, I'm noisy, but yeah, I'm gonna tell him that everything's gonna be alright because I didn't grow up with my parents, so I don't remember being sad time because I have art. I really don't expect to be an artist. I'm just maybe it's automatic that I pick up some papers, crumple them, and put some glue. And
It's really sweet.
yeah,
Do you, just out of curiosity, do you still have
yeah.
any of the old things you made when you were a kid?
I know because when I was in high school, all of the sculptures I gave to all of my crush, but they didn't reply. So, and also because we moved to a different place and some of our things got lost. I have my sketches when I was young, but the sculptures I don't have them. Mostly anime. I don't know if I get copyright claims.
Are you inspired by any particular like anime styles or any movies or TV shows?
Growing up, we don't have cable. We only have a GMA7. So I only got to watch animes from that channel like Ghost Fighter, Dragon Ball Z, Hunter x Hunter.
Is there any moment in your career or in your life that you think, oh, this is such a defining moment?
I was able to visit my birthplace because of my art. I was invited in Paris to have a show. So at first it was so surreal because my father is still there and we have a family there. So I think that's the magic of art. You'll never know where it will bring you. I have shows in New York, in Taipei. So I think it can only get better. So
Did your dad get to come to the Paris show?
yeah, also my stepbrothers there. And yeah, it's surreal because I'm 29 when I'm able to visit my birthplace and because of my art, because of what I do.
So, were you born in Paris and then you moved back to the Philippines as a baby, or did you spend any time in Paris as well?
Ano, I have this line that I'm just made in Paris.
So, where do you think you'll be in 10 years? Like, what are your dreams or your main goal?
I'm approaching my 30s, so my goals are to have a family, to have my own house. In 10 years, I think my paintings are worth millions. Law of attraction. Yeah, that's my hope that I don't have any problems along the way. Everyone is healthy.
How do you think art's going to change after the COVID crisis? And how do you think the virus has kind of impacted your own work?
It has really impacted my work because outside of the camping trip show, some of my works are become more serious and a bit dark, but it's not that scary or something. But I think it has affected a lot of artists. They are able to think of a lot of things, and some of the artists have this style, and then they have used this always. But during this pandemic, we have the time to think of other styles or other themes or yeah I have time to think about what I'm doing and time to create something new. But I'm still making Ohlala, so just to make clear.
How do you think your style has changed from the first camping trip exhibition to now?
It's been a year, so I have it's not more of the style but more of the process. I'm the kind of artist who creates a process so that I don't have to get confused with every time I create art. I think I became faster because just like a lot of artists who is not doing realism, because realism requires a lot of patience. Artists like me got bored easily. We really I can't stay on a painting within like 3 days. I can't. The faster I get to finish the work, the more it looks more alive.
Just out of curiosity, if you could
Yeah.
go back to a period of art history and like time traveling, where would you go and why?
The time of Leonardo da Vinci, Michelangelo, because I think the reason why they are geniuses because they don't have Xbox and PlayStation. They only have their time to create art. If you search for their artworks and the duration that they have taken creating those artworks, one sculpture that I think the David, the one with the it took Michelangelo 3 years creating that one. So imagine if I create an artwork that I created for 3 years. I think that's really fascinating. But I wouldn't trade my time here. I think during that time they don't have bathrooms and they share the
Yeah.
cleaning material. So I don't.
So, yeah. What was your first big break in the art scene?
The generic one is I email all the galleries and then nobody answered. So I decided to bring some of my dolls and show it to galleries. And I have a lot of blessings from my galleries, especially to Qube. Thank you for still continuing this show. Are we going to have a Zoom meeting?
Yeah, it's a
Okay.
Zoom. Yeah.
I'm gonna prepare some beers here. So
How do you feel about the show moving to Zoom?
we have no choice. We gotta have to continue, and the Zoom meeting is one way of keeping it alive and social. If we don't do anything, it will just be just another online show.
Do you still remember the first art piece you ever sold and how did it make you feel?
I was selling on the streets of BGC. I have this painting of a woman. It's actually the last day of the event. It's a 3-day event in BGC. So this one guy with his family approached my table and then they look at this piece and then they told me that they are getting it without even asking the price. I only sold it for 1,000 pesos. I was shaking and I'm still asking them, "Are you sure you're going to get this piece, sir?" And then it just sank in when he reached for his pocket and give me the money. And I'm shaking and I'm really thankful because that's my first sold piece.
I wonder if he knows you're famous now.
Yeah, I don't know because Ohlala doesn't exist that time. I don't have the Ohlala dolls or the Ohlala paintings during that time. I remember telling him that thank you for your purchase. I promise to work hard and become famous one day. And I don't know if he still remembers me.
Do you have any piece of advice for any person, whether they're young or old, looking to start an art career?
I just realized this recently because you know the generic advice of artists. I just realized that you have to be sensitive enough that you're not copying. It contradicts what I say in my podcast, Collabo. At first, you have to copy your idols, their process, their style, and then eventually you will have your own. Basically, you have to be sensitive enough. If everyone is drawing crowns on their paintings, don't draw crowns on your paintings and tell your own story. That's the only way to be unique is to tell your story. Or you can tell anybody's story, but you have to be 100% sure that you know the story of other people or any other theme because it will show in your work if you're not genuine enough or sure enough about what you are doing.
One last question. I'm
Ay,
just
yeah,
really,
sure.
really curious. Is out of everything you've ever created, what's your absolute favorite thing?
During my sixth or seventh solo show, I have created this 11-foot Ohlala doll. If you can see my room right now, it's a really small uh, place. I created that piece here, and I haven't seen that sculpture being assembled. So it's really hard to make that one. But when I see it towering over me, I got emotional that, yeah, you get so big na. So I think that's one of my favorite pieces, because a lot of galleries and museum have noticed me because of that. And I think some of the artists that I look up to have taken me seriously. I'm not here to just make cute little dolls. I'm here for the game. Yeah, I'm really competitive with that one.
Thank you so much again.
Yeah,
Hoping to
thank
hear
Finished
you.
more.
already? Don't worry, we have more episodes coming up. Thank you for listening, and if you have any comments or suggestions on how we can make these podcasts better, you know how to reach us. And in case you didn't know, we have a new website, cubegallery.ph, which we'd love for you to check out. Enjoy the rest of your day.